2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Black Mind Podcast.
Oh my God, Allan.
What?
It feels good to be back in my chair.
I didn't know you were back.
I thank you for keeping it warm for me.
Where's Josh?
What? How did I get here? Well, what?
I got it. I got it from here, bud. I got it from here. At least for 2 weeks. At least for 2 weeks.
Oh.
And then
Okay.
she's all yours.
Okay.
Hello, welcome to the Black Mind Podcast.
Black Mind Podcast.
Episode 116. My name is Jeff. Oh, shit.
I'm Allan.
And there's Josh.
And
there's Josh tied up in the corner, apparently.
I'm Josh, apparently.
We kidnapped him so he could record the show.
What makes it even worse? Is I'm currently scratching the head of my cat maniacally.
I mean, Allan's really the evil genius of Black Mind.
I don't know how that's possible.
I mean, I'm the true overlord, but you're the evil genius.
Well, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
We were talking about Vanquish.
Oh.
Yes.
I have yet to play this game.
It's fantastic. It's
Yes.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up on Steam.
I like it, and there's some little nitpicks I have with it, but it's a good game. You should play it. But my nitpicks are like you can get in loops, and there are some enemies, and it's uninspired bosses. Like there's like 1 or 2 bosses in the entire game. And then there's one that's like super difficult because why the hell would you put that in there?
Because because I can be an asshole that way.
Yeah. It's like stuff like that just like annoys me. That being said, it's not as bad as like some games. And you can
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls has its own problems. But it's like a skill-based game and stuff like that. Now, it's better than some things like Squirrel and Hedgehog. Don't watch that. It's a very terrible series.
It's
what? Squirrel and Hedgehog.
It's a basically a North Korean propaganda cartoon.
No. Okay, no, now I remember. Okay.
It makes Vanquish look sane.
Just so you know, I watched that first episode.
Oh shit.
I just basically
dark.
I just watched the review of it from one of those review guys on from one of those review guys on YouTube, and I was like, oh yeah, I've kind of heard about it before, but I never really looked at it, and then I looked at the guy's review and I was like, oh, this is actually quite messed up. Like really messed up.
No. So here's the thing is I agree with the guy who I watch, which is Saberspark, and he's talking about it. It's like, yeah, no, this is really dark. Like it's propaganda. 100%. It's propaganda.
I have never.
What makes it really funny for me is he's like, this would be a really cool political intrigue show if it wasn't North Korean propaganda for children.
Here's the thing: it's like you watch some of the fight scenes, you watch some of the things that happen in it, and you're like, wow, this would be a really awesome Adult Swim show. Like, I would watch it. But it also has the other problem of when we liberate North Korea, eventually, there will be so many fucking furries.
Oh, yeah. I have no problem with that.
It would be so weird.
You wouldn't have a problem with that, Allan.
Yeah.
I do.
I know you do. But, hey.
I mean, other than when North Korea gets liberated and they're not under some sort of oppressive regime, Their least of their problems is going to be about, you know, what TV show to watch. It's going to be more of like, what do you mean you want to know what?
Oh, come off.
They're going to be
come off that bullshit.
They're going to be so confused over options that they didn't know they had.
What do you mean? Yep. What do you mean that I can get water to the top floor of my house?
Yeah, what do you mean that you want? What do you mean you want to know what my pizza toppings are? What the fuck is a pizza? What do you mean you want to know what colors I like? What do you mean?
It's gonna be well, you know, you realize what the thing is. It's gonna be. What do you mean I don't have to be like? What do you mean this isn't a crime that's actually punishable by death?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be like the thing is like the certain things that they're gonna be doing, like, and this is the weird thing about North Korea is when North Korea is liberated, because it's coming, it's gonna happen. China's gonna be involved. China might just like put it back under a oppressive regime, but that's beside the point.
China's probably going to just take over the part of it and then just take over the government. Sorry for interrupting, but this is a great tangent.
No. Oh yeah, no, I get that. But the thing is when let's say the U.S. clears out North Korea, when South Korea finally gets back all of Korea, the things the North Koreans are gonna do, because they're gonna be so used to being like, well, we don't want to fucking piss off the regime, so what's the laws? And they're gonna follow the laws to the T. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be model citizens, but they're slowly going to have to like wean themselves out. And it's going to be like, what do you mean this law back, like whenever we weren't allowed to question the leader? What do you mean we can question the leader? What do you mean you get to have a choice for a leader? That's going to be the big thing, and that's going to scare a lot of them.
See, the thing I would really be excited for is I would want to be boots on the ground in the country when they found out running water exists.
Oh, yeah.
I would want to be boots on the ground when the first CNN broadcast came explaining the situation was there. That's when I want to be there. Is like, because it's like you will know for a fact that like this nation, like we don't even know if that nation's going to be alive. Let's be honest. Like,
I don't think here's the thing. If and when we cleanse North Korea, and it's going to be a cleanse, it's going to be a very, very thorough cleansing.
It will be a governmental cleanse and a...
No. It won't be a governmental cleanse. It will be like straight up, like lots of people are going to die, because you got to remember, a lot of them are indoctrinated into the way of believing their death will serve the greater good of the country.
I don't think it's going to be that bad.
I actually, from like the way like North Korean defectors are talking, it's gonna be that way, because like they're talking like it's so ingrained into them that they serve their leader so devoutly that it might actually be very much that way.
I think it's going to be more like a cult-like breaking down of like you will have Canadian soldiers on the ground murdering the shit out of people. If you see, like, it's not about like question of like if the Canadian soldier sits there and or you will have something little like oh, he gave me a piece of food and stuff like that. Like you're going to see a breakdown of this society to its core.
Yeah,
and it's not going to be like a small thing. It's going to be a big, massive shift.
Well, yeah, and that's the reason why. Like that's the reason why. Like it's gonna be we're gonna purge the government. But when we purge the government, there's going to be a very thorough purging of the people under the government too at the same time, because that's just how it's going to go.
Oh yeah.
It like I hate to break it to like a lot of people who are like, when we free North Korea, it's going to be this great big cheering. No, it's going to be very sloppy. It's going to be very messy, and there's going to be a lot of mass graves.
Oh yeah.
Like, we don't want to admit it, but like that's unfortunately the case for that. But at the same time, I kind of have to sit down and look at the situation and go, well, guys, it's more than likely that might be the thing we have to do.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be...
Yeah.
It's going to be a very scary thing, and I hope that it doesn't happen sooner. The reason why I'm hoping it happens sooner and stuff like that is because I want to get it over with so I don't have to deal with this later in my life.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't want to go through it.
I don't want to go through it, no. Yeah. Like, war is a terrible, shitty thing. Nobody wants to deal with that shit. In other news,
no.
Vanquish is pretty good.
Yeah,
and it deals with Russia, and it has a very Hillary Clinton-esque character, who very much reminds me of Hillary Clinton.
Oh,
so they have a president who's very corrupt and stuff like that, who literally assisted in helping the Russians overthrow their government. And so the Russians go, fuck that, we're going to attack the United States before they have a chance to attack us. That's literally what happens.
Huh.
And needless to say, I think that actually is kind of very good and stuff like that. It's very interesting about how they handle the characters and stuff like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah. In other news, Josh, you played Magic the Gathering.
I've never stopped playing. I always continue to play because it's my crack addiction.
They put something on there.
Well, or it's more like scratch and win ticket addiction or gambling.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
Josh.
Yeah.
I know you know about what D&D is. I know you know what D&D is and all that fun jazz.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you this about what's going on for me related to Magic the Gathering.
Sure.
I'm in a Magic the Gathering D&D campaign.
Okay. Cool.
So this all loops together.
Yeah.
Oh god damn! Oh shit!
What makes it even funnier is we all the stipulation of what the game was is we had to choose a legendary creature that was named. So like I chose Tajik of Bladed Legion so it's a Boros character. We have Soren's brother father Edgard Markov. We have
That's so nerdy.
Myriad. It's so funny because I'm sitting down, I'm like looking at our group, and what makes it even worse, and it's so bad. But like we were like, okay, well, how would we do all these characters as like D&D classes? And what makes it even worse is we have 2 rogues, 2 paladins, and two fighters, and we're like, oh god.
So you're saying this is all gonna be fun then? It's just gonna be a lot of fun.
We have no magic.
It's good. Again, it's gonna be a lot of fun, unless someone decides to double class.
Actually, apparently a lot of us are gonna be double classing over time, but like we're actually like. The reason why we're doing it is we're really excited for the new set coming out, Ixalan.
Yes.
And we're playing in that universe, in that world. We're like thinking about like, well, okay, what's the story about Ixalan gonna be? And we're actually like really excited to be like just playing around with these characters in this plane. It's actually pretty fun. And from what I've seen from Ixalan, and I assume this is what your crack addiction is related to, is the fervent scratching at the skin that is, the desire to play this game. And so okay, what's happened this week in Magic?
So basically, there's, other than the spoilers for the new sets coming out, but I'm saying like this next set of like shit coming out through the coming months, it's gonna be back to back like freaking door stoppers. Like, oh fuck, you want to get this? Oh fuck, you need to get this. Oh fuck, this is coming out, and then everyone's gonna be fucking just be like broke because. So what's it called? Ixalan? The new one coming out?
Ixalan.
Ixalan coming out. It has dinosaurs, it has pirates, it has vampires that are white. Like, it has everything. So you're like, oh, this looks good. And then the next set coming out, Iconic Masters. That is just going to be Modern Masters 2017 all over again.
It's gonna be 2017 all over again.
It's gonna be just full of bullshit, expensive shit, just all over. And then coming out, people thought this is never coming out, but Unstable, the Unseries, that's coming back again.
Oh god, no.
Yeah. So get ready for your cheaty faces and your big cheese and your fucking this card, you know what this does? It's my shoe size times my height, and the defense is my my circumference of my butthole. Deal with it. But the thing is, though, with Unstable, it has full art lands that are always fantastic, and they're legal in tournaments.
So wait. They're doing what Warhammer or Games Workshop did with Age of Sigmar?
No.
Not
it's
quite.
better?
It's
better.
No. They're doing what they did with 40K, where they've turned around and gone, "Okay, guys, we're gonna go back to the basics. We're not gonna change the lore. We're not gonna end the universe. We're gonna progress the timeline in a safe and cohesive manner. Don't kill us, please. We're gonna try and do this as good as we can. We aren't the best."
Oh, so they're handling it better than Privateer Press did with MK3. Good.
Yeah. So basically, just like a rough review of like these sets. Like Iconic Masters, it's just reprints of like all the expensive shit you never had a chance of getting because they came out like 10 years ago. But now we have a chance to get them with like a booster pack that's worth $15 maybe if you're lucky enough, because sometimes those booster pack prices can be up the wazoo. And then it
depends on where you're buying.
Oh yeah, and also the Unstable series is just a fun, you played the game for such a long time, and you're like, I just want some new weird cards, and sometimes you just make homebrew cards that are just pretty retarded. And Unstable is that, these cards are just really dumb because there's creatures that can attack you for half points. That doesn't exist. It's always full points, so half points is like, okay, whatever. And there's also cards that are like I said before, this creature's attack is your shoe size, and this creature's defense is your height. And it's like, that's weird. And there's another one called Cheaty Face. If you can put it into play without the other player noticing, and it goes full loop back to your turn again, it's in play permanently. Like dumb shit like that.
No.
This sounds like the greatest advancement in Magic the Gathering, and I don't even play the fucking game anymore.
No, the thing is, though, this Unstable set, it's not legal because all the dumb shit you can do in the freaking cards.
If you rip up this card and toss in the air, any card that's touched by its confetti remnants is destroyed and then thrown into. And then when it hits the graveyard, it's exiled. And then when it's in the exile, you exile it from the exile zone. And it's god.
Or there's.
Do you remember that Lotus Petals?
Yeah. Or freaking.
Somebody used that. Somebody used that in an actual world tournament to win, and it was like, what?
Yeah, it was. What was that?
They actually did. It
was early enough in the in the time of when the game was, for the tournaments and shit like that didn't necessarily have a rule for was a card called Chaotic Orb, which is, play the card, put it above the table for 4 to 5 feet, and then drop it, and whenever card it touches, it's gone from the game. Yep. But the thing was, there's no rules for saying you can't rip it up and then throw the confetti. So this guy brought a giant stack of these fucking cards and just played this entire tournament that way, with ripping up the card and throwing the confetti. And it's like, it's like, and judges at the time were like, no, that's legal because nothing says you can't.
Nothing says you can't. I like how that's still a statement. Oh no, my favorite story is the fact that in Unglued, it's in Unglued. There's a card where you can literally stand up and destroy a card from another at another table. You aren't even part of that match. You just stand up and go, I destroyed that card, and you sit back down.
Yeah, exactly. That was such a pit. I've heard stories about that. People who played in like a booster draft tournament with that set. Yeah, I heard such stories of like, I was gonna win, and then some fucker stood up and looked at my table, looked outside my table and pointed at it, and I was like, no.
This sounds like the greatest thing. Great.
Hey, no. Like, I will freely admit, Unglued and Unbound and Unglued were fucking phenomenal sets. But, like, they were so dumb at the same time. Like, if you're actually playing, like, modern Magic, and they have people have cards like that in their deck, oh god, you're so pissed off when they come out because you're like, no, how is this a thing?
Yeah, totally. Although there's one pro tip about Unstable though. Like every Magic the Gathering set, they always have foils in them. Unstable's land foils, if whatever reason you have one, keep it for fucking ever, because they're gonna be worth $100 each. Like instantly. I'm not kidding. I had a land card from the older Un series, I think it was unglued or something, and I just, I didn't know the true value of it, and I didn't have a cell phone at the time, so I was like, oh, whatever, I'll trade it for these couple of rares. And I didn't
have a cell phone. I didn't have a cell phone at the time when cell phones weren't even a thing.
I didn't have access to the internet, so I didn't look.
Well, the thing was, I had no idea. The thing was, it was a regular LAN card, but it was foiled, but it was full art, and I had no idea people were so apeshit about full art foils. So when I later looked it up, I'm like, oh, what's the price of this thing? It was like $70 fucking for one card, and it was
Josh,
foils.
that's enough for Destiny 2.
But here's the kicker, though. Like, these LAN cards, they're fucking everywhere. So me learning after the fact of like, oh, it was that expensive for a full art foil? Like, shit.
Josh, you could have bought Destiny 2 for that price.
Oh, I don't have the card anymore, so whatever.
Josh.
Jeff, your segue is not working. Please take it back. Please take it to a mechanic and see if you can get the battery changed.
Speaking of Destiny 2,
I hope there's I was gonna say, I hope there's a Magic Gathering set about Destiny.
That would actually be amazing.
That would be wicked. I would play that game.
Every day we move farther from the Traveler's Light. Let's be honest, though.
Oh, God damn it. Jeff's about to... By the way, warning. You are now entering the spoiler section of the podcast. This is your warning. Turn back now, ye old travelers.
I haven't played Destiny 2.
Praise be to the light.
I was going to talk about the PC beta, which is fucking amazing, man. It was dank as shit. It was the most amazing thing ever. And then people played it. It was great. It was glorious. And ran great on other people's machines.
Cool. Did you go shoot the cave that shot loot at you?
No, I didn't do that. Oh. It's fun. It's a good game. I played the first mission when yep, this is Destiny on PC. I'm going to wait, and then I didn't play anymore. So I'm probably gonna buy it and then play it multiple times and get through the story and then have fun, and then manage to somehow force you to buy it.
I probably won't be buying it for a while.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Josh.
Oh, I know. I talk about Josh.
I mean, eventually, but the thing is, I want this game to be cheaper. It's never going to happen, but I want to be cheaper.
Here's what I'm going to suggest to you. Okay?
Yeah.
Listening to me? Yeah, okay. Good. Okay. All you do
is give it to me for my birthday.
No. No. You don't think... I was going to say, don't think about it.
Oh, okay.
Either that or you buy Maya, Josh. And let's be honest, let's not buy Maya. Let's let Allan buy Maya.
Or, I just simply forget that exists and play Warframe a hell of a lot more.
But Josh, you could play with me and Anthony. Anthony, my Winnipeg friend, who's great.
Right.
I mean, he's a fantastic dude. I mean, you can play with me and Anthony and Noah.
Or by that time when Destiny comes out, I'll be full swing into Pokemon again. If I can just
please don't. Please, Josh.
That's right. Destiny comes out the same time Pokemon comes out. Oh, jeez, the community's be fucking torn apart.
Josh is just gonna die. What's gonna happen is I'll just drive over to Josh's house, be like, Josh, you gotta play this game, Josh, and then he'll be playing Pokemon and play Destiny for 5 minutes and be like, oh.
Yeah, I was so enthused with Pokemon that I've actually genetically engineered my own Pokemon, and you're like, what? And Halucha comes out of nowhere and German suplexes you through your car.
Just through the engine block, a 4.6 modular's just in my back now.
It's just
you're like, this is the best day of my life. I have become one with the machine.
Best day of my life. I've become one with the Mustang.
Okay, but real talk. The fuck is with this game? The game release season, because holy fuck.
Yeah. There's
a lot of good games coming out here in the next couple weeks. I'm gonna start from 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now, we have Warhammer 2 coming out. In October, how many games do we have coming out, and how many new series do we have launching? We have Ruby, we have fucking, oh my god. And then in November, we have Call of Duty, Wolfenstein, Evil Within 2. Actually, sorry, Evil Within 2 is coming out in October. We have, the Scorpio's coming out. We have the like what is with this game release season? Like
it's almost as if everyone was making games, and then now is like the week
for once, and not getting told by SJW to do something stupid.
Well, no, that's just Call of Duty this year, man.
Shh. I had a mad moment about Call of Duty. I actually got really mad about this for Call of Duty because I'm like,
about it. Please no, you're gonna make me angry. Please no.
No, we have to talk about it. I'm sorry.
Destiny 2 is so good.
And that's my reply.
I get that. We'll go back to your safe space after.
Okay. We'll go back to Apple News. So I can rant about.
Oh God, we're not going back to Apple News.
If it makes
yet.
me angry,
So,
can I talk about how disappointed I am?
So here's the thing. I'm happy that Call of Duty World War II is coming out. I'm happy that we're following the Big Red One. But like I'm sitting down and I'm watching the trailers for the episode for the game, and I'm like, this is looking really good. And I'm getting Nazi zombies again with World War II, and I'm like, yes, I like this. Please give me more. And then I hear ever so quietly in the background hushed tones from the feminists, and I'm going, no.
That's your.
You just hear them bitching, and you're just like. You know what? You know what would make me actually respect them more? Is if they watched Goon.
Ooh,
Josh, have you seen
Goon? How I
Goon?
feel about that.
Goon?
Yeah.
Like Goon what? Goon.
It's just called Goon. It's a movie. It's a hockey movie. It's like Slapshot.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Actually, no.
It's fucking good.
It is Slapshot. We all know that.
No. Slapshot had a lot of goals and fighting and stuff like that in the window. Goon just takes the fighting part of it, moves it outwards, and then makes it R-rated. It's just the best thing. Because keep in mind, the original Slapshot went on a downward trend. Slapshot is the best hockey movie ever of all time. Goon is the second best hockey movie ever of all time. And then there's
Slapshot too.
And then you have the Mighty Ducks, and then you have. That's another movie that we should talk at eventually.
And the Mighty Ducks, was it Mighty Ducks versus the Russians, or was it versus Canadians? I can't remember.
It was the Mighty Ducks, and then they were like part of the NHL, and they fought NHL teams. And then they were also like fighting against like Russia, I think, or something else. Yeah. It was a weird movie, and it was good, and I loved it. And anyone who sits there and says that it sucks can go fucking suck a dink.
Just a dink, not a dick, just a dink.
No, yeah, a dink. It's a completely different object.
He's about 3 feet tall.
No,
he's very famous.
No. A dink looks like a penis coming out of a maple tree.
So the 3 foot tall actor.
No. You have a maple.
I am going to stick with this joke, Jeff. Just move on.
Anyways.
You have lost.
Well, okay.
Move on. Save yourself from going crazy.
But
that's my suggestion.
But Goon is. But like, I would honestly be interested in them watching Goon, because Goon is probably the dirtiest movie ever. One of the dirtiest movies ever made.
Oh God,
and
yes.
It's fucking amazing. There's a line in the movie where it's like, you make me want to stop sleeping with other guys.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot that was a thing in that one.
Anyways, I need to watch Goon 2.
Yeah.
We need to watch Goon 2 together. There's a line, you smell like hot dogs, and then he goes, thank you. Awesome. It's a great movie. Everyone should watch Goon.
Goon is one of those movies that you'd look at and you go, yeah, no, I totally should watch it.
Goon is one of those movies that you watch and you're like, I have never once seen a tooth fly so majestically throughout the air.
No, my favorite thing is the fact, and this is a fact for me, that the fact that the like there, of course we have GOON, we have the fun times that is that, but like my favorite thing about like favorite hockey movies is of course the old is the Mighty Ducks movie where it was live action with teens, where like everything was just blown out over the top, and I sat down as a kid, I loved watching it. And I still love watching it from time to time nowadays, like especially during the winter when I'm on I'm bored of NHL. And yes, I do get bored of the NHL. Surprise, surprise, nothing new there. But like I'm sitting there and I'm like, I just look back at like my childhood and I think about like what the old Mighty Ducks movies were like. I'm like, it's so nice to be able to just casually look back and go, look at this. Look at this majestic madness.
See, I like how we went from you being mad at SJWs. I completely was able to derail the entire conversation. And
oh no, I'm still mad. I'm still very mad. But you're sidetracking me.
I am preventing something. Listeners, you can thank me.
Yeah, probably. I'm okay with that. If you want, I just needed to rant about it.
Well,
we can talk about the next topic now, anyways.
Okay,
yeah.
So anyways, guys, iPhone X 8 bullshit.
Does it have a headphone slot?
No.
All right, throw
Johnny
it out the
Ives is
window.
a fucking cock.
Throw it out the window.
Needs to be put in line.
Throw it out the fucking window.
Can I rant for a bit?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna try not to be as ranty as Allan. Apple unveiled their new iPhone X edge-to-edge OLED display. That's cool. Okay, fine. That's cool and stuff like that. They remove another fucking feature that I fucking use.
What's that?
They removed the touch sensor from their flagship fucking phone. Guess what they replaced it with? Biometric ID and animating emoticons. Guess what? It doesn't fucking matter. It is cool. Go ahead.
I was gonna say for the feature that is it like detecting the thumbprint feature? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
or?
that's fingerprint. It's Touch ID. It's called Touch ID.
Okay.
So now it scans your face and stuff like that, and then it can put a mesh to your face and then make it look like when you're talking and stuff like that. It can make it do stupid things. It is the most useless feature in the world. Guess what else is the feature that they replaced Touch ID with?
The second one's really bad.
Download
Josh.
porn to your phone automatically.
No, Face ID. So now to unlock your phone, you have to look at it like an idiot. And if you're making a purchase, you have to look at your phone like an idiot.
I can't wait for someone to just like be like, oh, it turns out if you hold a cardboard cutout in front of your face, but if you do it in just the right way, it actually still detects it. Weird.
It unlocks your phone. You know what? I don't know what Apple's deal is anymore.
Before it was, innovation for, for the consumer to be more fucking lazy. Now it's innovation for the fuck of it.
Well, it feels like they're in the Nintendo issue where they have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
Where it's like Nintendo made the Switch and stuff like that, and now they're kind of reining that stuff in. But this is innovation for the sake of innovation, not innovation for the sake of the end consumer. This is removing a feature and stuff like that instead of replacing it. It's the same thing with the headphone jack. Speaking of the headphone jack, somebody added in a headphone jack into an iPhone 7 and built their own phone.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
It's pretty funny because I've seen the entire video of that guy's, starting from scratch and then making his own board and everything.
Yeah.
And it's pretty. He had to cut out the tilt sensor or some shit. Like
he had to move the haptic sensor up.
Yeah, like you had to move a bunch of shit around, but he managed to figure it out and get it to work, which is pretty amazing. The only thing that sucked though was he had to go through like 10 phones because it turns out like he was able to sandwich like by the time he was almost finished with the project, he was able to sandwich everything together, but with just enough gap to keep shattering the screen. So he's like, "Fuck! Every time I keep trying to make this thing, it keeps shattering the screen." So he almost gave up at one point in his video. But that he was like, "No, fuck it. I'm at this point. I should keep going." And then he got there. He finally got the headphone jack to work on that thing.
Yeah. So like, what happened in it is basically, you can see it in the video. Eventually, he just loses steam, and then he finally figures it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's interesting to me how that show goes.
Yeah.
It doesn't go in. Like, it's interesting to me that he was able to do the stuff. And it's interesting to me that he was able to make something that worked and functioned. And the thing I think that's probably most upsetting with me and stuff like that is it proves that, okay, people want a headphone jack really badly and stuff like that on your device.
Yeah.
And are you going to listen to the end consumer? No, because Steve Jobs' ideology was the consumer doesn't know what they want until it wants. Here's the thing, though. I think the consumer knows what they want in this circumstance.
Yeah.
And I don't think they want you cutting off features and removing things. I don't think they want you going, oh, well, we're just going to throw away something that actually functions really well. Just to just in order to fit some stupid ideology. It's like, no, you do not do that. There was a perfectly good place to put it on the fucking backside of the phone. And like, you could have sat there and said like, now weren't able to embed it in the screen, but we moved it to the back. That's the best thing that we can do for this situation. So now you have a flagship that has less of features that are useful to the end consumer than the step down. Did I mention the phone's $1,000?
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
Yep. I've seen the memes going around of like, what could you spend your $1,000 on? And it's like 2 video game consoles,
a Samsung,
a Samsung phone, or 4 Samsung phones.
You can spend your $1,000 on a GTX 1080,
or
TI.
Freaking get an entire computer.
Oh yeah, it's like.
Oh no! I will go with my combination: a Samsung phone and a gaming console. You know, the Scorpio. Pre-order that shit.
God, it's just like.
Apple is. I have the feeling Apple's trying to actively sync themselves.
It's funny because I'm actually debating right now whether or not I want the step down or do I want the what is it? Note 8. Knowing all well that Linus's opinion was like it's too tall and stuff like that. That it all really kind of depends on his review and stuff like that.
Dude, if you really want a phone that's just kind of like feels like an iPhone almost, but not really. The phone I have, I would say is kind of equivalent to that, but it's still Android.
What's it called?
It's a Galaxy 7?
Or a Pixel. I'm thinking about that too. But it's like, it's just like, I'm just so mad because it's like, I love my iPhone. It's the best phone ever. It's really good and stuff like that. And like every single integration, everyone sits there and can agree. The iPhone is a decent phone for the price. It works very well, and it's usually in the top 10 in the best phones of the year. Everyone can agree on that.
Usually.
Yep.
So, like, where does Apple kind of go, well, we can remove this, we can remove that, we can remove this, and we can remove that? Like, exactly.
No,
It's...
Oh, geez, no. My big thing about Apple, and this comes from the Gen 2 or 3 iPhone.
Oh, so the 3G.
Yeah, it was a 3G. Like they had a good shape with the old 3G where it was a little bit bulky, but like it was round, it was smooth, it slid in and out of your pocket, nice, neat. The frame, the glass broke a lot, but you know what? If that was the worst feature about it, that was okay. But then you see the jump towards when it jumped to the iPhone 4, and then from there the 4G, the 4S, and stuff from that. And you see it get narrower and taller, and narrower and taller, and squared up and taller. And I'm sitting there and I'm going like, wasn't the point of the 3G? And the thing is, the 3G by no stretch of imagination compared to my current phone, which is a Galaxy 6 Neo,
is not it.
It's is by no means smaller than the 3G, but the iPhone 4 was narrower than the iPhone 3, and it was about the same height. So I was like, okay, yeah, I can see where that goes. But then you just see it get taller and a little bit wider, taller and a little bit wider, taller and a little bit wider. And I'm like, weren't you guys supposed to be like capable of condensing this shit down? And then they start taking features out, and I'm just like, oh,
it's just
you give us
it's just
Apple. Stop. You had a good product.
It's just insulting because you see the same thing on their MacBooks. And you see the same thing on their iPad to a lesser extent, but you see it there where they're going to where the MacBook Pro I don't recommend to anyone.
Why would you?
I would recommend a MacBook Pro for somebody if they were saying, "Oh, I'm doing video editing and I'm doing this and I'm doing this, and I really like Apple." Or they go, oh, well, I'm just doing the basics and stuff like that, and I'm comfortable spending a little bit more money and stuff like that and getting a good product. Usually you can sit there and send them to a MacBook and say it's bulletproof. But it's like, for what you're not getting more storage. You're not getting universal port. You're not getting better I/O. You're not getting any of that stuff. And so, like,
you're on top of that, what makes it even worse is you're not getting the ability to adapt or change your software either, or hardware, which makes it even worse because you just sit there and you look at the thing after the moment it becomes outdated. It's
outdated,
forever outdated. Yeah. So it becomes hard to like recommend. For me, it's really hard to recommend anything related to Apple because, well, like. It's like because I actually had one of my friends try to turn around and say, "Oh yeah, go with an Apple for your video editing software." And I'm like, "That's cool and all, but if I have to update my RAM for my video editing software, I can literally add, 4 more strips into my PC. Can you do that with your Apple?" And he stopped and he looked at me. He's like, "That's not the point." I'm like, "No, that's entirely the point. Fuck off."
That is entirely the point. Because seriously, like, even if the person was like, "Oh, I really like Apple shit," I would still recommend a PC, like, laptop or something, because you can still do the same things. It's just a little bit different button placements, and you have more options at your disposal.
Well, it's Zen. Like, I could recommend a Mac before. I can't anymore.
I mean, to be fair, when I was younger, I did have a Mac computer, but over time, I just slowly started realizing, oh, wait, I'm an idiot. I should have got a PC, and I eventually did get myself a pretty good PC. Because really, I was like, I
think I've dropped, like, on my PC alone. Remember, I built mine initially for gaming, and then I developed it into my 3D modeling and animation PC that it is now. I think I've dropped somewhere around $7,000 on this PC over the course of, I think, 6 years. And you know what? I'm happy because I can guarantee myself that if I need to change or update something in my system, I can safely turn around and do it. Whereas the MacBook, well, sure, you might spend only $1,000 on a MacBook, but every 2 years you're probably replacing it.
It's more like every 3 or 4 years. Let's be honest here, guys. It's
no, it's every year or every 2 years.
3.
And the reason why the reason why I say every 2 is because how often do you see like besides Nate is a very bad example for this because Nate managed to keep their MacBooks from way back when, I think from like 2010 to like when I started there before they finally updated their MacBooks in the one room.
Oh God.
But like at the same, you remember that, like that. You remember that bullshit of that classroom. But at the same time, I sit down, and I look at the like if you actually pay attention to like any major artists who are like actively like keeping track of like how they need to often they need to update it, it's every 2 years, because at the point like after 3 years you're so far behind in your technology that you need to go like you it's like 3 years is the extreme limit in my opinion, whereas with like every 2 years you can get away, you'll still like learn stuff and understand stuff, but oh man, I'm tired of Apple. They make me hate myself, and they make me like.
Don't worry.
Like I won't deny it. They make a good product.
No, don't worry. They'll hit like they'll 1 year their what was it their what's it called, their quotes for every Q1 or whatever. They like someone's gonna spoil that somehow. And they're going to be like, oh, no, that's totally a lie. We are not losing money hand over fist. Nope, not at all. We are not losing money. And then they turn around and like, we're losing a lot of money. Yeah, we're kind of losing a lot of, we're almost broke. Almost broke.
I think that the problem with Apple is the fact that they're so money hungry, too. That they have no idea.
Oh, yeah. No.
It's before they had a different ideology of like, you're the hipster, you want a Mac, and now it's like, you're the hipster, you need a PC.
I think that's part of it. But I think the other problem is that they don't. Johnny Ives is Unchained, okay? And Johnny Ives is the head designer at Apple and stuff like that. So Johnny Ives being Unchained is a bad thing because nobody's sitting there putting Ives in line and telling him this idea is stupid. And it's just upsetting. Now
he's surrounded.
Oh no, I agree with you there. Yeah,
I'm gonna say he's surrounded by a bunch of yes people, and absolutely no one saying no.
Well, it's Tim Cook who runs the company, but he's not saying anything to stop.
Yeah. No, one of the big things for me with Apple about how they do their stuff is just you stop and you look at how they're doing their business model of the consumer doesn't know what they want until they get it is a fucking retarded business plan. Like that's the reason why you do focus groups, pre-plans and stuff like that. You sit down and like it's meant to be tough. It's meant to be hard to like do a good business, but like at the same time you're like,
this is basic business. Don't remove features. Replace features with better features. Don't replace features that are a mainstay of your platform.
Yep.
Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater.
No,
that one depends.
That baby's gone.
Yeah, that baby's
you didn't even know it was gone until you were like, where did the baby go? It was with the bathwater, apparently. Oh no.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm. Oh, Star Wars shit. By the way,
I'm watching the Mighty Ducks first face-off.
Oh, I have a little angry moment about this bullshit. Okay, so episode 9 has been is the rumor going around is that J.J. Abrams is retaking over the direction of episode 9. Guys. Yeah. I love Star Wars.
Yeah, I think I can hear you fapping in the background to Star Wars right now.
Star Wars is pretty good.
But Star Wars is pretty good when it's handled properly. And I know J.J. Abrams will handle Star Wars properly. He did a pretty good job with episode 7, except for the fact that the main character fucking sucked. But beside the point. I don't know how I feel about him going back to Star Wars. He did he's not a bad director for it. He's a really good director. He's actually got probably one of the best directors to go for Star Wars, because legit he's by far better than most of the guys you'd see for
it's
anything for Star Wars. But at the same time, you're like, motherfucker. Choose someone else.
J.J. Abrams seems to me like the director that they're choosing because he's somebody who you can throw at the franchise and do a good movie. I don't think he's the best pick, though. I much would have rather preferred Tim Burton or somebody else.
I would. Oh, I don't know if I don't think I could go with
Tim Burton doing Star Wars. I would be interested in watching.
That would be weird.
No, that would be weird, and that's the reason why. Like, as much as I love my Star Wars, and as much as I like Tim Burton,
actually, you know what? Who would actually probably be the best? James Gunn.
Ooh, James Gunn,
director of. I believe he's the director of Guardians of the Galaxy.
You know, the one movie I would love to see direct, or the director of direct Star Wars,
Michael Bay.
No, either Michael Bay
James Gunn is
Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
That'd be so weird. Wes Anderson Star Wars. Oh.
No, I refuse.
Oh, that'd be so good.
No, thank you.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Never. It would be terrible, and we all know it.
So good.
No, the actor, the one I want to see is the one who did Star Trek Beyond. Because he did his, like, he understood Star Trek and he understood what it stood for. I would want the person who directed that movie to do. I have to find his name, and like he's damn good.
I think.
Like, because I saw Beyond. Beyond is by far the best of the new series, and it was directed by
Fast and Furious' director, I believe.
John Cho.
He's a good director.
Oh no, that's not John Cho. That's the actor. Who was it directed by? Because Jesus Christ, director Justin Lin. Justin Lin directed Fast and Furious, Fast 5.
He directed 90% of them.
He's movies he's directed. So he's done the Scorpion TV series, Star Trek Beyond, Hollywood Adventures, How to Be Asian. Oh, Jesus Christ. Fuck. I'm actually just looking for him as a director. He's done True Detective, the TV series, Help, Scorpion, the TV series as a first episode, Fast 6, Fast 5, Fast and Furious. And he did Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, which means he's by far the best fast director ever. Apparently he's doing Space Jam too.
Oh, god damn it.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Woo! We're gonna get that one bad movie in there.
You know what?
I can hear the song in my head now. Yeah, I can hear the theme.
What? But here's the thing: is that like the reason why I said James Gunn is think about how good Guardians of the Galaxy is, and think about how unique this style is in our Guardians of the Galaxy. It's
yeah, but that's the thing. It works. It works with Guardians of the Galaxy because it's just a Pops 80 Odyssey series. It's meant to be like this 80s retro style, whereas Star Wars is more like it's high fantasy, and that's the thing. As much as I know that it's sci-fi. Sci-fi is usually derived into two different parody groups, which is high fantasy, which is we know that shit works like this, but we don't explain how. Whereas you have Star Trek, which is the hard opposite, which is realistic sci-fi, where they try to keep it as close as they can in basis of reality. They have to make some things up because, hey, shit's got to get done. But it still works. Star Wars is the other way around, where there's a few things they explain that work, but then they're like the vast more other things work. How does a lightsaber work? How does the blasters work? And sure, we have all these expanded lore information for the games and shows and stuff like that explain how all these things work. But they don't explain them directly in the movies, which are the big things. We don't get explained how the Death Star creates this composite beam laser that fucking all joins together at one point and then blows up a planet. We don't get how hyperdrives work. We don't get how lightsabers function. We don't get how why we need to have forward momentum for our our starfighters and stuff like that. Like because but the thing is, another thing is where the total opposite for Star Trek is, while they don't have directional valves or directional thrusters like you'd expect in zero-G space, you have warp drive, which the theory behind warp drive is you create a bubble around yourself and you squeeze the stuff behind you, so it pushes you forward, so that expands the stuff in front of you, and it basically does that. You basically warp reality around you, and you push a little bit forward, and it pushes you forward great distances. Yeah. That's how that works.
Can we?
I don't know. I'm rambling, but for James Gunn, though, he does very good high fantasy, but he does it in a very retro style, and that doesn't work for Star Wars. I'd say the guy who did actually the people who directed Rogue One would be the big people I'd put for that. For me, I'd push the Rogue One directors, or what's their name? The Total Recall guys?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Star Wars is both a high fantasy and a gritty universe. It's supposed to be high fantasy in the fact that there's all these overtoning hopes, dreams. It's basically like an actual fantasy quest rather than a sci-fi quest where it's shit gets done because the Force. But that's not how the Force works. That's beside the point.
Yeah. It's just little issues and stuff like that, and that you have with that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I won't deny, J.J. Abrams did do a pretty good job with Episode 7, but at the same time, I'd rather have someone else.
Mm-hmm. Again, Wes Anderson film with Star Wars.
No.
Yes.
So good.
Yes.
I can picture it now. 2 Star Wars Jedi sitting on a bench. One was male, one was female, and one of the male one is going, "Man, I got the Force and I got the Midichlorians and shit, but I'm not sure if I'm ready for this."
I got it.
I mean, I love Fantastic Mr. Fox. That's a great movie. I love a lot his film repertoire. I look at it and I go, yeah, no, I love. There are some really good ones in it, but he is not. Oh, I can't see him doing Star Wars. It would be
see
bad.
Him try. I want to see a 5-minute film of him trying. I want to see it so bad. It'd be so good.
No, it would be terrible, and you know it.
5 minutes of hey, what you can do with Star Wars in 5 minutes. I just love to see that. It'd be so funny. So funny. Oh, so good. Oh, I'm gonna post it on Twitter. Wes Anderson, please do Star Wars.
Okay. I got a better idea, Josh. Wes Anderson, please do Gundam.
Oh God, that would be something I'd see.
It's funny because they're actually talking about doing a Gundam series, live action movie series.
Oh,
it's going to be terrible. Well, actually, no. Let me rephrase this. As long as they do Xeon right, because Xeon is basically the Nazis.
Well, they're not really Nazis. They're fascists.
They're fascists. That would be great.
Nazis is the extreme of fascists.
As long as they do the EFF, because the EFF is also a bunch of dicks, and Xeon, which is also a bunch of dicks, it would be great. It's going to be great.
Yeah, as long if they set it up political, if they do it where they do political commentary, as a political espionage or political warfare setup, where sure there's this big war going on, but behind the scenes they're fighting at a dark there's a dark undertone fight going on in the background where sure the EFF is losing the ground war, but Xeon at home is literally going, we're dealing with problems behind the lines. We need to fucking solve the problem. And like you see the crackdown start to happen, and where the crackdown starts to happening, you see it like it progresses towards the front, where the problems start happening towards the front, and the EFF is just like adding to the problem because they're the one causing the crackdown behind enemy lines. It's I'd love to watch that, but like it needs to be done properly. It can't be like this 10 episode bullshit that was like
it can't be a 10 episode miniseries that doesn't go in anywhere. It needs to be more like the thing that I'm going to say right now is recently I watched Gundam GM Counterattack. And it's okay. It's a fine series. It's just not as good as, let's say, Build Fighters or Iron-Blooded Orphans. But
well, that's the thing. Iron-Blooded Orphans
has things like where like people will like go like, okay, I'm going to use more power, and then my legs don't work. That's Iron-Blooded Orphans in a nutshell.
They're the new one that came out where the guy is like the one of the Zeo. Not the Zeo, the Zaku mechs, the design, because this is all like the one that came out was a high space debris area, so they designed their mechs to be
Thunderbolt?
very like adaptive with Thunderbolt. Yeah, that's apparently a really good
fantastic
series. So what they do is they one guy gets augmented so his arms and legs no longer are like just stumps, so that he can be wired directly into the Zaku, so he can pilot this thing more effectively in these high danger zones. And like it brings up like the ethical issues of like, well, he's a damn good pilot, but at the same time he will never walk again, and you have to do this so you win a war. And it brings up a lot of questions like that. And then you have like Iron-Blooded Orphans, which is fucking gritty, down to earth mech versus mech surface combat. And I like the thought of that. It's actually really cool. Whereas but then you have thing like Gundam Unicorn, I think it was, where like that's the big mech being made in Japan, which is fucking phenomenal. Yeah. I love the fact that that's the thing. That show was really good because it dealt with like you actually like the pilot of the Unicorn of the Gundam Unicorn. It ends up seeing the war from both sides. He sees it from
the FF.
Actually, he sees it from 4 different sides. He sees it from the
FF, Xeon,
the Xeon, the neutral aerial stations, and the splinter groups of the EFF, where they're like, we're not with the EF, but we stand for Earth, so please don't attack us. Which Xeon still attacks. Surprise, surprise. And you see like how the EFF is like, no, we don't have this original document coming out. Xeon finds out about this. Xeon finds out the possibility of this document and going, we can propagandize this and destroy Earth once and for all because we get all the stations behind us. This neutral stations are like, we just don't want to be involved. Leave us alone. We're happy with our trade agreement with the EFF. You're just the ones that are the problem. And the neutral country's like, well, it's a document. We'll back you guys up if we have to. And it's so cool because like he isn't fighting for like home. He isn't fighting for this. He's just fighting so he can like maybe just finally have peace, because he was born at the end of the previous war with from the original Gundam Mobile Suit Gundam. And I love that. It builds off the fact that Char died. Yeah, Char died. And that Xeon was lost, and that was
Char
slaughtered.
died in Char's Counterattack.
The original Mobile Suit Gundam pilot got killed at
Char's
the end
Counterattack.
At the end of Char's Counterattack as well.
Amuro Ray kills Char and sacrifices himself in order to prevent a meteor from falling into the Earth.
Yeah, and on top of that, what makes it even all more amazing is, that's the thing. At the end of Char's counterattack, you see every EFF mobile suit go up. Like the EFF mobile suits are shit. They are terrible. I will freely admit that they are
what,
crap.
the Xeon ships? Yeah, oh yeah.
No.
Oh
The
god,
EFFs.
they're paper thin.
Like the EFF's mobile suits are shit, but you see them fly up to the asteroid, brace themselves against it, and start using all their thruster powers to stop the meteor at all costs. And Xeon sees this, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna start popping shots," and they're blowing up these mobile suits as they're latching on and trying to stop the meteor. And you're like, some Xeon pilots like, "That's not right," and they like looked at the Earth, they're like, why are we trying to destroy this? This is where our home, this is where we're from. And you see the Xeon pilots go, it's like, that's a really good message. And you're just like, oh, Gundam was really good. Gundam can be real damn good. And then you get Gundam C2, and that sucks. See Destiny. I mean, the combat in that movie, the war in that movie was
done well.
The political message of the second half was done really well. The first half was done terribly.
Can we talk about GM's counterattack? Because I got some things I gotta say. GM's counterattack is basically fan service, the anime.
Oh no, completely.
It is one of the few shows I watched and went like, there's one GIF, and I showed it to Josh, and Josh was like, this is great.
Can I see this GIF? Because I want to see this GIF.
So, Josh, you don't care, do you? At all?
No.
Okay. It's too powerful, Allan. It's too powerful.
Give it to me.
Okay.
I can handle it.
Send it to you. I'll post it in the topic list.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't have the topic list open. Surprise, surprise! Allan doesn't have it open. What? That's nothing new.
But like, to be honest about it, I found the pacing a little strange. It's too fast.
Well, that's the thing is, the Gundam TV series and the Gundam movies and anything related to Gundam related to that stuff, their pacing is either hit or miss or fantastically
I just
well
don't think it needed to be a 30-minute AMV or what is it called? OVA. I don't think it needed to be a 30-minute OVA. I think it needed to be a lot more of an hour or so, because it just goes at a clip. And it's not like you don't get any like story, you don't get really any character development. You just get like clip, and then fight, and then you get everything else.
Yep.
Although that being said, it does tie into the Build Fighters universe quite well, and it also ties into one of the series very well, because it has one of those great amazing fights at the end of it. And I think that this, if I were to rank the series and stuff like that in the Build Fighters universe and the Build Fighters canon, it would be try Island Wars, try Build Fighter GM Counterattack, and then this. Like, actually, no, let me rephrase that. I would move the try into second place, because
I have a question for you, Jeff. Do you ever remember the TV series where it was basically Gundam but with knights, where you had to kill a dragon to activate the Gundam?
No.
Fuck, I can't remember the name of it is right now, but it was actually pretty good. I remember it and I loved it.
Is it?
Because like
is it you have to kill a dragon and stuff like that? Was it Gundam? It was Gundam.
No, it wasn't a Gundam. It was another mecha show, but like fantasy.
Oh god, I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm gonna look it up right now. But like, I remember watching it because it's got a lot of cool political intrigue. There's Code Geass, Gurren Lagann, Vision of Escaflowne. That's it. And I'm gonna send you a picture of this of the mech in the show, if I can find a good big image of it. There we go. That's what this thing looked like, and I loved it as a show. That thing had a sword. It didn't have guns. It was just mechs. Yeah, like it was semi-organic, but like it was done so well.
Guys, this guy
needs to go for a walk.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm home now.
I'll take them when I'm done.
Okay.
All right. Sorry. Yeah, I'm I'm looking at that right now. Okay, sorry, my mom was talking to me. Yeah,
no problem. But like that's the thing is like everything about Escaflowne is a really cool show where it's like it was such a good show.
There's some other good mecha. Like there's one where it's like they're all the mechs are called arms. And there are 7 arms based on the 7 days of the week, and it's like a guy chasing after a man in the call. There's another one that was basically, or there was Trigun and stuff like that. There's a lot of really good
Trigun, Gurren Lagann. Oh,
there's another one I'm thinking of right now, Megas XLR. Yeah, there's like a bunch of really good mecha shows and stuff like that.
But is that really anime though? It was made in America.
I mean, Megas XLR is
like
the best.
Avatar is an anime.
No,
Josh.
Megas XLR versus any show, I would take Megas XLR. If somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, we're going to do Megas XLR again instead of the Powerpuff Girls," I would look at them and say, "Fuck you, you fucking cucks. Make Megas XLR."
Don't. No. I'd be like, don't ruin the good thing. Please, just leave it alone. It died a happy life.
So it never died a happy life.
No, yes, it did.
No, actually, did it even have a final episode?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it did.
Okay, I was gonna say
it left it open, like how they used to do with certain shows. But like the really big thing is like. Oh man, I love the fact that like there are so many good mech animes out there. Go watch them. Shop and take my money.
They're out there.
You know what? Actually, you know what you want, Allan? You want Megas XLR movie with Jack Black as Cooper. So.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that one.
Jack Black would be fucking great. Shut up.
No, because here's the question: who do you put as the sidekick?
Jamie?
That tall leg? Yeah, who do you put as Jamie?
Oh God, you could either do Channing.
Because that's you can't do Channing.
You know who you do? Who's the voice of the main character in How to Train Your Dragon? You put him as Jamie.
Oh, you put him in.
Who would be the girl?
You put him as
you need to pick who's the girl.
Sorry, what?
Mega XLR
movie. Who would you put as the girl, Josh?
Oh man, there are so many people.
I would say
actually, what Ramona Flowers from
Scott Pilgrim Saves the World.
Pilgrim, yeah, like.
Ooh, that'd be a good one. Either her or I know, and I'm gonna be a very progressive person. We're gonna choose a person of color today, boys. We're gonna choose Mako from Pacific Rim.
That would actually be good
because hey, that would be a really good combo setup because you'd have Jack Black fucking. Oh, whatever his face from How to Train Your Dragon, and I'm not gonna lie, like, oh man, could you just imagine? Like that as a show, like holy crap, that'd be great. Fuck man, I totally like watch a show like that.
I think I found another anime just floating around on Twitter of a space rock band that's also fighting with Gundams and shit.
Oh God!
This intro is amazing. It has everything in it, like literally. It has space. It has rock and roll. It has mecha. It has this like plot. It has this scenes of people. Like all the art bullshit you want. God, I gotta copy this tweet and so I can show you people because fucking it's weird. There we go. Enjoy that.
Anyways, is that a podcast?
That's a podcast, I think, because I think we're all getting pretty tired at this point. We've been going for an hour and 20 minutes, roughly. And by the way, things will be on the cutting room floor. We hate to break it to you. There's a little rant in the
Macross. Anyways, think Macross.
Oh, Macross is.
Oh, is it now?
Oh, Oh God, yes,
Okay.
it is.
Oh, that's the name of it.
Yeah. But yeah, all right. That's a podcast.
Anyways, thank you everyone for listening to the Black Mind Podcast, episode 116. My name is Jeff. Joining me as always was Josh and Allan. We thank you for listening, and we hope to you join us again soon. As always, you can listen to us on every Thursday on podbean.com or other podcast apps, including iTunes. And feel free to submit us a review. Have a good night, everyone.